yourself while listening to Tooncast.
Hello and welcome to episode 19 of the M-Wire Movie Week in Review. I am your host, TFG and Mike, and not as usual, Steve Megatron's not here, but Kevin, Professor Boss K. Dog Thompson from Tooncast is here. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, how are you?
Pretty good. I can't make all of my shows, but I can make it on this show.
Well, it's all the same. Doesn't matter. Besides, like I said in Tooncast 25, which should have already aired by the time this goes up, now that I can actually, I actually figured out that I can just call you on your cell phone, now that we've figured all that out, so you should be on...
I still do.
You what?
I still feel like a celebrity, though, getting the special call. Like via satellite, we have...
Yes, exactly. We're sorry, Jack Nicholson couldn't appear to accept this award in person, but we have him via satellite with a
right.
bronze copy of a gold Oscar.
The only thing better than that would be if you had me in hologram.
Ooh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Alrighty then. So, not to toot my own horn, but you have a birthday coming up, and I sent you a birthday present, which I've actually been holding on to for about 3.5, 4 months.
That was an excellent surprise. Surprise in the mail, and definitely cool.
Yeah, I had sent you a Panther because you had said to me that you had never had one. So I figured, what the hell? I just kind of scoured eBay, and I was looking for one that was... Obviously, mint in box isn't going to happen because when I was looking, I couldn't find one that was actually mint in box, but I found one that was in pretty much mint condition, and it did come with the saddle and everything else. I don't know, but you see now what I was talking about in Tooncast episode 10 about the material on that figure.
Yeah.
That's some.
It all makes perfect sense now.
That's right.
Thank you very much. That was very cool.
Yeah, no problem. Hell, it's kind of hard not to remember your birthday. It's the same day as my mother's.
Oh.
Yeah. I think I have, besides Mom, I have 2 other people that have birthdays on November 23rd that I know.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
I actually had someone that went to school with me kindergarten through 12th grade that had the same birthday as me too.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, so really, I'm trying to think if there's any programming notes. For the majority of the Geekcast radio shows, we are pretty much working through the holidays. A lot of shows, some of the shows may be pre-records, but you may not know that unless we actually tell you, like I just did now. But we will have tons of holiday content for M-Wire. I believe the next 3... Actually, episode 20, I may be doing something new and different. I may be doing a commentary for episode 20 instead of an actual just discussion. There will be discussion either before or after the commentary, but obviously we're going to be talking about I Can't Hardly Wait in this episode. But I've moved my TV into my living room here. It's on my desk, so I pretty much have a whole media center set up here. And I figured, I've got this headset. I can use the headset, and all I got to do is just turn myself in the chair, and I can watch the TV on mute and do a commentary on it on a DVD. So there may be a DVD commentary for episode 20. It was originally supposed to be Masters of the Universe, but because I couldn't get a hold of a copy of it in time for episode 20, that has been moved back a few months. So I know you wanted to be on that episode, and trust me, you're not missing it. So it's just we've had to shuffle the schedule a little bit.
Gotcha. You said you're looking for it on DVD?
Yeah, I mean, I know I can find it. It's just the money issue. I don't have the money to get it right now. I mean, I know I can find it on DVD.
I could send you my copy for a loan.
Funny. The Christmas episodes we have coming up in December, we're going to have 3 weeks of Christmas episodes. First one we're going to be talking about is A Christmas Story. That'll be episode 21. Episode 22, I originally had slated as Deck the Halls because I wanted to tie it into the fact that Matthew Broderick is in that film and it's the adult Ferris Bueller, but unfortunately I don't have Deck the Halls on DVD, so that has been changed to Jack Frost, and then episode 23 will be National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. So we will be right back with Can't Hardly Wait.
At first it was also unbelievable. Mike Dexter wanted to date me. I know why I started dating him. I just don't know why I did it for so long.
Well, he is the most dope guy in school.
Yeah, and school's over.
This party tonight? Amanda suddenly being single? It's fate. Fate has opened me a window.
Yo, I got to have sex tonight. It took me all day, but I narrowed it down to a list of 10 very lucky finalists. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think there'll be any girls there?
Are you kidding me? People may even be having sex tonight. Huntington Hillside, kiss my ass!
Have you seen Amanda Beckett?
Yeah, man, I just saw her in there. I'm thinking about asking her out, boy.
Oh.
God, you're a hottie. I filled this with 7 bottles of vodka last September. It's been in my freezer for... All right, yo, check it. Time to get busy.
Who does he think he is? Brad Pitt?
And you're like Gwyneth.
But with bigger boobs.
Oh, totally bigger boobs.
I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my legs!
Columbia Pictures presents an event 18 years in the making. When you find out who your friends really are.
I don't think she's prettier than Gwyneth. Not even.
What your future really holds.
I am going to have sex with someone at this party.
And how one night can change your life.
I don't know about you, but I really believe that there's one person out there. And for me, it's gotta be Amanda.
There's a mirror right there. Why don't you take a look, okay? You're white.
Guys like us, we are a dime a dozen.
There is fate, but it only takes you so far because once you're there, it's up to you to make it happen.
Amanda?
Can't hardly wait.
Which team has the winning play? Huntington, Huntington, hey, hey, hey!
We are back, and unlike Tooncast, M-Wire doesn't have a format at all. This is Kevin's first movie week in review, and I basically just go through, get the wiki information, and just go down through the pages. It's too lazy to actually make an actual format for this show.
It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about Can't Hardly Wait. Now, when did you first... Well, first of all, this is made in 1998. So, 11 years ago. When did you first see this in theaters, or did you see it on DVD or VHS or whatever?
Well, you don't know this about me unless I somehow leaked it before, but when I was in junior high and high school, I was, let's just say, obsessed with Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Who wasn't?
So, I mean, I actually owned all of her movies at the time on VHS, even the ones that nobody's heard of.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I saw this right away. And because of that, I also actually know that Peter Fasinelli, who's also in this movie, this is not actually the first time they were in a movie together.
Oh, really?
If anyone has free time and can find it, there's a movie called Telling You that has both Jennifer and Peter on it, and I don't think it was ever popular. I don't even know if it was ever in theaters, but it's worth a watch. So yeah, I saw this right away in the theater.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I did. I don't remember. I would have to go back cause I've always been the type of person that I will collect my movie stubs from when I go to theaters, and I would actually have to look through them and see. I believe I remember a movie stub from Can't Hardly Wait, but I'm not sure, and my movie stubs are out of reach. They're over on the other side of the desk, so this was done all right, like you have in the 80s, you had like Breakfast Club and St. Elmo's Fire and all that stuff. You know, the 80s teen drama. This is the 90s version of it, but this is basically centered around, you know, a high school party.
Yeah.
And you know, this was 1 year before. 1 year before 10 Things I Hate About You, and
it was kind of the first of its mold. I mean, I know it's not. That sounds wrong because it's not like this type of movie had been done before. But as far as like the '90s party type movie, this was kind of one of the first ones, and then we had a bunch of that came after.
Right, exactly. So, Can't Hardly Wait is a 1998 United States romantic comedy teen film written and directed by Deborah Kaplan and Harry Alphont. It stars Ethan Embry, Charlie Corsmo, Lauren Ambrose, Peter Fasinelli, Seth Green, and Jennifer Love Hewitt. The movie calm down. The movie takes place at a high school graduation party in a style much like that of high school movies of the 1980s. The filmmakers were inspired to make the movie because they felt that in most teen films the best scenes were the party scenes. So they decided to make a movie that was set entirely at a party. Though the film deals with common high school stereotypes in some favor of the film's chaotic but appealing mise-en-scene and performances, the movie was named after the replacement song of the same title from their 1987 album Pleased to Meet Me. The song plays at the end of the movie when the credits start rolling. The movie is ranked number 44 on Entertainment Weekly's list of the 50 best high school movies. Whatever. We're not
number one.
Well, yeah, but you know, you're biased. And I do have to point out something before we actually get into the plot synopsis here. I did not know at the time, when I first saw this and I saw the William character, I'm like, that kid sounds awfully familiar and he looks awfully familiar. And you'll never guess what else he's been in.
Which character are we talking about?
William.
Okay, go ahead.
You'll never guess what else he's been in or what character he played.
I can't think of it at the top of my head.
Go suck an egg.
Does that give you any clue?
I couldn't hear that one real well.
Go suck an egg.
He was the kid in Dick Tracy.
Oh yes, he was.
I never knew. I spent like not before this recording, but ever since I saw this movie, every time I would see it, I spent hours and hours and hours trying to figure out who this guy was. And I'm like, wait. And then I just IMDb'd him, and I'm like, I looked at it and it said Dick Tracy. I'm like, what? He was in Dick Tracy? And holy crap. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't ever put that together either until just now, but now I can picture the kid, and yep, he even kind of looks the same.
Yep. So, getting into the actual plot, the film revolves around an eclectic group of students from Pennsylvania attending a high school graduation party at a large house owned by a rich class member's family. Each character has different plans for the night. Optimistic misfit Preston Myers, played by Ethan Embry, plans to proclaim his love for his 4-year secret crush to whom he has never had the nerve to speak before, prom queen Amanda Beckett, Jennifer Love Hewitt, who in turn has recently been dumped by her top jock boyfriend Mike Dexter, played by Peter Fasinelli, who is targeted by classmate William Lichter, played by Charlie Corsmo, who is plotting revenge against Mike for happily making his high school years a living nightmare. Cynical Denise Fleming, played by Lauren Ambrose, has no intention of going to the party, but when her best friend Preston says he is going to proclaim his love for Amanda, she is dragged along. Kenny Fisher, played by Seth Green, is a ludicrous wannabe rapper who plans on losing his virginity by the end of the night. When he goes to the upstairs bathroom to get ready, Denise happens to walk in. This is when the pair of former friends learn that the door has broken doorknob, trapping them in the bathroom. The two begin talking about how they drifted apart, which eventually leads them back to their friendship and escalates to them having sex in the bathroom. Now, throughout M. Wire's lifespan so far, the past 18 episodes or whatever, or 18.5 episodes since we just released the Who Framed Roger Rabbit Tooncast crossover, I have always complained about the wiki synopsises. I understand Wikipedia is a user-based website. It isn't, some giant conglomerate like I was going to say Yahoo, behind it or whatever. But there's a lot of stuff that they kind of gloss over in this plot synopsis. What are some of your favorite scenes from the beginning of the film?
Oh, geez. I think, let's see. I think there's some scenes with the nerd, I guess you could call him the nerd, or the William and his friend.
Yeah.
When they're kind of making the plan for what they're going to do and some of that stuff that's pretty funny.
I want to be Boba Fett. No, you can't be Boba Fett. You're going to be Grandma Tarkin. I don't want to be Grandma Tarkin. Fine, you're both Kiss dolls.
And actually, the nerd I am, I actually just watched the movie with the audio commentary on, which is the two directors and Seth Green giving comments about it. And they talk about the fact that they wanted to have a lot more Star Wars figures and Star Trek figures and stuff like that, but they were going to get in trouble for using too much, George Lucas property or this or that, so they cut some of that out. But yeah, I like those scenes.
Yeah. So then we have, during the course of the party, Amanda deals with being alternately consoled by the drunken girlfriends of Mike's jock friends and her own cousin, trying to figure out if she truly has an identity past being known as Mike Dexter's girlfriend. At one point during the night, she discovers a letter with her name written upon it. Unbeknownst to her, the letter was written by Preston, and after reading it and subsequently being moved by its contents, she makes it her mission to find him. Now, I'm sure that letter probably just had some production note on it, but if it was something that they allowed Ethan Embry to write out, or if somebody wrote it like an actual letter, I would have loved to see what was in that.
Yeah, and they talked about that a little bit too, and they said that they actually got ripped by Siskel and Ebert for not, or whoever was doing the review, for not ever reading the letter. And they said they probably did it because they weren't creative enough to actually come up with a real letter. And they said that there was just a piece of cardboard in that envelope.
Before the party, Mike convinces his fellow jock friends to follow his lead and dump their girlfriends in order to make a pact in which they all pledge to remain single as they go to college. Now, before we go on, I do have, where is it? Here we go.
Mike Dexter's a god! Mike Dexter's a role model! Mike Dexter is an asshole.
Oh, I love that scene. It's so funny. Let's see. Later on, an intoxicated Mike learns from a guy named Trip McNeely, Jerry O'Connell in a cameo, a graduate and former stud from his high school, in that college jerks like them are a dime a dozen and ironically find themselves on the receiving end of bullying. This reality is even driven in further by the fact that Trip emphasizes how he dumped his girlfriend in the same fashion that Mike did to score with women when he was unsuccessful. Terrified, Mike tries to get Amanda back, but she is happier without him. Which also brings up this little tidbit of audio.
Amanda!
Now, I gotta say, when I first saw this film, I knew nothing about Peter at all. I knew nothing of who he was, and at first I thought it was Tom Cruise.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff.
Well, it's not really that he does a lot of stuff now that's like, but back then, I mean, I don't know how old the guy is now, but not off the top of my head without looking it up, but I'm sure he was in his maybe late teens, early 20s back then, and he looked and sounded almost like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I agree with that. You can see it in his gestures and his body movements.
Oh yes, very much so. At the same time, William devises his plan to wreak revenge on Mike by humiliating him. He has his two even more nerdy X-Files obsessed friends wait on the roof while he goes to the party to drive Mike out. However, while inside the party, William begins drinking in order to fit in. After a while, he drinks enough to make him forget what he was originally doing there, and an impromptu sing-along to Guns N' Roses' Paradise City causes him to become popular for the evening. William begins talking with Mike, and Mike apologizes for tripping him earlier in the day at the graduation ceremony, while William was giving the valedictorian speech. Yeah, that...
How do you trip someone when they're giving a speech? How do you trip somebody when they're giving the valedictorian?
Not really sure.
I thought they had a different setup.
Maybe,
on his way up to give the speech?
Yeah, that's probably what it means. And again, wiki, whatever.
Yeah.
And of course, throughout this whole night, you have this girl who is like, "Oh no, we can't go." The girl that actually owns the house. We can't go in the fancy room. My parents will be home, and it's just one whole mess. When Mike and William are jailed as a result of a police bust, Mike takes the blame, saying that he forced William into drinking. However, the next morning, when William sees Mike and some of his friends at a local diner, Mike acts as though he remembers nothing of what happened the previous night and proceeds to ridicule him in front of his friends. William, feeling the sting of betrayal, leaves dejected while Mike laughs with his friends, and to William's chagrin. Now I gotta say, they've kind of glossed over a couple of things. Throughout this whole party thing, Preston just gives up and drives off. And then it's a running theme about the whole Barry Manilow song Mandy, who Denise tells him is apparently, and this is just me remembering from the film, this isn't me reading from script or anything, tells him that she thinks it's about his dog or whatever. And he goes to this phone booth, and of course, who should show up but freaking Dharma from Dharma and Greg, Jenna Elfman as a angel stripper, and she hangs up the phone on him, and they have some serious talk about, I don't know, she's going on and on about how she had an infatuation with Scott Baio, of all people, and everything else, and she kind of gives him perspective, and that's when he goes back to the party to try to find Amanda. And then Amanda, after having gone through what she had went through with, Mike and her cousin and everything else, she just...
And the cousin's actually why Preston runs off in the first place. He walks in when they're kids.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden all the guys are hitting on her. So.
Yeah, I like the stoner guy. Amanda, I just want to say, God, you're hot!
So yeah, I think, and then what you were saying is, when Preston gets back, she basically takes his advancement as just another guy hitting on her.
Yeah, pretty much. And then throughout the entire night, you got I don't remember who the actor is, and Sean Patrick Thomas played one of the jock friends, but the guy that plays Carl is funny as hell. Here's a clip from then.
Smell out of there! Hey, I got one for you. Remember that time when I was about to talk to that beautiful girl and you started telling me all these asinine stories? Remember that? Huh? No? See, that's funny. Because it just happened!
Carl is the male equivalent of Melissa Joan Hart's character, the yearbook girl, and, the memories and all that stuff. And at the end of the film, Preston finds Amanda, confesses his love, as we said. However, she assumes he is just another drunk creeper and rejects him. She later finds a yearbook and realizes her mistake. And the scene relocates to a railway station. Amanda visits Preston at the station where she asks him about the letter. Preston confesses he wrote it and he's about to depart for a pre-college writing workshop with Kurt Vonnegut, but immediately stops and finally comes back to Amanda where they kiss. As the film ends, the characters' fates are revealed. And before we get into the character fates, what What is your overall opinion, outside of your obsessed love for Jennifer Love Hewitt, what is your overall opinion of this film?
I just think it did a good job of catching just about every different stereotype you can have in high school. Like, it had every type of group or type of, reputation that you could have, and I think it did a decent job of showing, some of the good and bad sides of all that, and it was just a fun, entertaining movie. I mean, it's not like something that's meant to be all super serious, but I think everybody that's in high school can relate to.
I found out, and I'm kind of pissed about this. I found out that I actually have the original version of the DVD, which just has the theatrical trailer and the filmmaker commentary. The filmmaker commentary is just the two directors. It doesn't have Seth Green on it. And apparently there's a 10-year reunion DVD edition now that came out last year. But I had paused it on some of the flashes, because when they introduced each of the, four of the main characters, it's Mike Dexter, Amanda Beckett, Preston Myers, Denise Fleming, and William Lichter. When they introduce all four of them, or five of them, or six of them, or however many there are, I paused my computer to check on their activities, because on Williams, it's a list that scrolls down. Well, I paused it each time. It's the same things listed.
Yeah, it's a loop. It actually is a big list. You can see it online. I mean, it is like a paragraph long, but then they loop it so that it just keeps showing over and over again.
So as the film ends, as I said, the characters' fates are revealed. William became one of the most popular students at Harvard. He later went on to form his own computer company that has made himself worth millions. He is dating a supermodel. Mike went on to college, but after drinking too much, lost his football scholarship, ended up 40 pounds overweight, and working at the car wash, a job he lost when incriminating Polaroids surfaced. And then after the Mike scene, it cuts to Denise and Kenny. But right before, I think it's either right before or right as it pauses on their fate, the klepto kid comes in and steals the gumball machine.
There was something on the commentary about that was kind of amusing. I guess they got some type of letter from somebody that said, "Did you guys, that was confused. You guys let this guy go in and steal a bubblegum machine. What the heck was that supposed to mean?" And the directors were like, "Maybe you should go back and watch the movie and everything else that he steals."
The day after the party, Denise and Kenny meet up in the diner. 5 minutes later, Denise dumped Kenny. 10 minutes later, they found the bathroom and got back together. Oh boy, I can see where that relationship's going, straight to the toilet. We then cut, obviously, to the train station scene, and after Amanda and Preston kiss, 7 hours later, Preston finally got on a train to Boston. Amanda wrote him a letter for every day that he was away. They are still together. And the final one, which really that's the final one, but if you stay and watch throughout the credits, William's two nerdy friends were abducted by aliens after discussing that they didn't miss anything by not attending the party. Oh boy.
That was supposedly one of the most expensive scenes or shots that they did.
Oh yeah, the bright lights and all that stuff. Yeah, probably. I would assume so. Going into the cast here, top-notch casting for the film. I mean, for what the film is anyway. I mean, you got Ethan Embry, Charlie Corsmo, Lauren Ambrose, Peter Fasinelli, Seth Green, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Chris Owen as the klepto kid, Jason Segel, Jamie Presley, Tamala Jones, and Jennifer Lyons as the girl. I mean, there's just tons of great actors for that time period.
Yeah. And because we were talking about how there wasn't a lot of teen movies being shown at that time, they said that they basically almost anybody they asked would come in and do at least a line for it, or they said they were surprised, even Jerry O'Connell, even though he only had that one little scene, he even went on like talk shows and promoted the movie and everything, even though he was only basically an uncredited one scene performer.
The direct.
But look at the uncredited.
The uncredited people are pretty awesome as well. Of course, you also have with the actual credits, you have Donald Faison, who played the drummer. Eric Balfour was the hippie guy. Selma Blair, and then in the uncredited you have Breckin Meyer, who actually Breckin Meyer is probably one of the most famous people at this point because, and I don't mean that as far as making money in Hollywood, but I mean, hell, he played a live action John to Garfield, John Arbuckle.
Yeah, and they also said that Breckin Meyer and Donald Faison absolutely hated each other. They said they could not get along. They almost got in. I want to say they said that they almost got in a fight at the set. That one of them stormed off or something because he was pissed off with the other one. I guess they just really.
Well, that one exchange during the whole band breakup, he's like, "Who are you, the white artist formerly known as Prince? Shut up, Hootie, Hootie." Yeah. So.
Yeah. That must have not been too hard for them to.
And then, of course, Melissa Joan Hart as the yearbook girl. And then the directors, Deborah Kaplan and Harry Elfont, are the voices of the voices of the graduation students in the beginning about the whispering and the rumors and stuff at the graduation.
And then you skipped over Liv.
The only reason why I did was because I don't remember her at all. The bubblegum girl.
It's when the postcard.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
In the trash.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, her father's not making very good rational decisions these days, so yeah, whatever. Fucking breaking up Aerosmith, dumb bastard. Anyway, and then of course, apparently deleted scenes had Amber Benson, Jennifer Elise Cox, and Summer Phoenix, which.
I really, really, really wish that they would have been allowed to put out the movie as it was first filmed. Because it would have been freaking 10 times better than a movie that was already pretty good on its own. I guess they shot basically most of the entire film and then were told that they needed to have a PG rating. And they had to go back through and just slice and dice the film because they had so many scenes where either certain things were being said that couldn't be said, certain things were being shown, they couldn't have anybody actually drinking alcohol, or it appear like people were drinking alcohol, so they just had to completely, basically, like I said, slice and dice the whole movie, and I wonder what it would have looked like with all that still in there. I'll get into some of those.
Yeah, I don't know, because really, alright, first of all, if that's the case, then why the hell do they show a full-on face shot of Charlie Corsmo drinking a glass of something golden, and at first he spits it out and says, "Nobody drink the beer is bad!" And then he drinks from it again, and you can see a golden tint. Now, of course, if I really want to get disgusting on here, I could say that was not beer, and they pulled an American Pie, but
it was O'Doul's.
Oh God!
That's actually what it was. But the funny part about that scene is the first time he takes a drink and spits out, the glass is half empty, and then when he takes the second drink, it's all the way full again.
I don't know. As far as some cultural references for this one, in Not Another Teen Movie, Jennifer Love Hewitt's character was parodied by her Party of Five castmate Lacey Chabert, which that was kind of a funny scene in Not Another Teen Movie. I don't know. On the Phoenix album by Zebrahead, the 10th track is called Mike Dexter is a God, Mike Dexter is a role model, Mike written after the Mike Dexter character. What'd you say? Oh, yeah. I don't actually have the soundtrack. I did find on iTunes one of the songs that was featured in the film, which it'll be heard at the end of the film, or not the end of the film, the end of this episode, which was the end song, Only You by Yaz. But just looking at the soundtrack list and the songs that were just featured in the movie, there is a ton of famous people in, you know.
Yeah, and I actually had the soundtrack.
Oh, I'm not saying it isn't,
pretty good,
but
pretty good disc. I mean, it wasn't like
yeah.
spectacular, but it was.
I much prefer the songs that are actually in the film, and I understand again. It's, you know, it's music rights, it's all this and all that, but I don't understand why they. Huh?
Yeah, there was some other songs that they wanted. There was some even more songs that they wanted to get in that they couldn't get the rights for, that were too expensive. They wanted to have in the one scene where Seth Green's character is sitting on the couch and then he tries to hit on the two, the one that says he's going to hook up with them and the other girl. They wanted to have No Diggity being played in the background.
It's bad enough they have the Knight Rider ripoff in the store, but anyway, as I said before, the movie is on DVD. If you're a fan of, you know, high school films, or, you know, even some of these actors,
it's, you know, it's your typical high school movie.
Yeah. I mean, there are some very, very funny scenes in it, and I will be getting the 10th anniversary or 10 years edition with new special. I will be getting that DVD at some point, and I'll probably just give this one away, or take it to the pawn shop or whatever. Because apparently there's features on that. There's like 10, because it was released last year, 2008, which obviously was the 10-year anniversary of it. Apparently there's a feature on that has I guess it's cast interviews or something. 10 years looking back, or there's some sort of like looking back featurette on the 10-year DVD. Yes. So we have a 1 to 10 scale or a 0 to 10 scale here, but I don't know. I mainly use it for the action films or for the comic book films. I don't know how I'm going to use it for comedies because, I mean, this is just a classic high school, party film. I mean, it's a good comedy. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but I mean, if I absolutely had to rate it, I'd probably give it a 7 or 8. Yeah, it's not the best one in the world, but it's not the worst. It's not like, oh my God, I can't watch this at all. All right, well, I think we are going to take a break. You'll hear some ads, and we will come back with the closing.
There once was a boy, an albino I'm told, who possessed the power of pen pusher gold. He had many stories, all short and exciting, but nobody knew, and so he began writing. He sat there all summer and skillfully sought to perfectly ponder and polish each plot. The settings were set, all the characters cast, his fingers were flying and flailing so fast, and soon the young man with the snowy complexion quickly concocted the Caffeine Collection. He smiled, satisfied with his clever creation. Oh, the things that did pour from his imagination. Stories of pirates and future police, of devils and bullies, and a twist press release. Fantasy, mystery, both are included. Comedy, action, no genre excluded. You say to yourself, it's too good to be true, but author Steve Saylor would not lie to you. An audiobook so you don't have to read. And hey, $15 is all that you need.
From the author of the podcast novel Black Shadow, Steve Saylor presents The Caffeine Collection, a dynamic audiobook collection of short stories presented by ringtonefeeder.com and stevesaylor.net. Steve presents a genre mashup of multiple stories for your ears.
I have to be on caffeine to write all this.
Steve Saylor presents The Caffeine Collection, on sale October 28th, 2009.
So mark this date down so you will not forget. For more information, stevesaylor.net.
Thanksgiving is just 1 week away and Christmas is right around the corner. Are you looking for a gift for family members and friends that is slightly not the average gift? Well, look no further. I am TFG1 Mike from the Geekcast Radio Network, and besides podcasting, I am also a published author of poetry. I have 3 books of poetry published and 1 for sale right now. It is The Twists of Faith and Fate. This is an 85-page softcover book. It comes signed and only costs $20 per copy. I have 20 or more copies available. For more details, email me at tfg1podcast@gmail.com.
Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight. I see a new episode of Tooncast.
coming this week.
All right, that's it for the 19th episode of M-Wire. As I said in the intro, we've got tons of stuff coming up for the December month, tons of Christmas stuff. I've actually got, I think, the next 4 Christmases planned out with a bunch of Christmas movies, like this year is Christmas Story and Jack Frost and I was going to say Can't Hardly Wait, but that's this episode. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I believe the next Christmas is the Santa Claus films, and I don't know what's after that. I'd have to look at the schedule. So it was good having you on M-Wire, sir. Is this your first? Yeah, this is your first M-Wire episode.
Glad to be here, especially talking about Jennifer Love Hewitt movies. And I do suggest anybody that's a big fan of this movie or thinks it's one of those classic movies, do watch it at least once with the commentary on and learn a few other tidbits about it.
Oh yes, very much so. So I think we're going to go into the closing. Thank you for joining us here on Movie Week in Review. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. First, you can visit www.geekcastradio.com. Find all the other GCRN podcasts there. The second is that you can stop by PredaconEmpire.com/Nexus. Those are our forums. And the third is you can leave the show feedback on iTunes. Again, forgot to check it, but I'm pretty sure we don't have any reviews. What is wrong with you listeners? Go leave us reviews. We crave feedback. Damn it. The fourth is you can visit www.earth-2.net, which is another great geek culture website. In their forums, you can find our threads under the self-promotion section. And the fifth is the email address, which is gcrnmwire@gmail.com. We now have a voicemail line. Call us and leave us your thoughts on each episode. Be sure to say what show you're leaving the message for and your name. The number is 502-526-5821. You can follow us on Twitter. The show name there is GCRNMWire. Mine is TFG1Mike. And even though you have no computer access, what is your Twitter, sir?
Boss K-Dog.
Yes. We hope you enjoyed this episode of M-Wire, and wish you'll join us next time when we will be reviewing, I'm not sure what we're going to be reviewing in episode 20. As I said, not sure. As I said in the intro, I may actually do something a little bit different. I may do a commentary instead of an actual full-on review. I'm not sure. I've got to get with the person that I was talking about on doing that and see what they think. I'm not sure. And again, Steve will not be on that episode as he is currently in the process of moving. So he will be back in episode 21. So yeah, I gotta haul ass and find somebody for next week. Oh, crap. So for now, I am TFG1Mike with
Professor Kevin, Boss K-Dog,
saying the immortal words of what am I gonna play here? I guess I could play this.
I am a sex machine. Sex machine.
Dude, make him say something else.
Okay. Would you like?
Okay, yeah, I'm not finishing that clip. Yeah, thank you for listening. Until next time.
Looking from a window above, it's like a story of love. Can you hear me? Came back only yesterday. I'm moving farther away. Want you near